We're going to work at the core now, and Tim is going to be in the standard plank position. I want you to note that there's a straight line from his shoulder through his hips all the way to his heels. And he's going to hold this position. Now he's focusing on keeping the core really firm and tight. Now one thing to note is if you feel a pinching in the low back, that's because you're not holding the core tight enough. We always want to keep our focus right here. I know you have your weight on your arms and even on your toes, and you might feel it in the legs, but we want to keep our focus right here in the middle of our body, right around the belly button. Just kind of squeeze that belly button. I like to picture that there's something in my belly button, like a ruby, and I don't want it to fall out, so I keep it pinched really tight, and that's a good way to kind of draw your focus to that area. Now Tim's going to move up into a different version of the plank. This is exactly the same as far as the body's concerned, but it enables him to do some other things. So he's going to hold this in static plank, and then he's going to move. He's going to lift up one leg, and now we have a dynamic plank, because as he lifts up his leg, it sets off his balance a little bit, and he can move that leg around. He has more weight into his right hip flexor, so that is working a little bit harder, but he's also moving the hips around, and so every time he moves, he has to stabilize. The obliques, the shoulders, the chest, and around the hips have to hold himself steady from falling off. All right, that looks good, Tim. Now I want you to move into a side plank. So he's going to put all of his weight on his lower limbs as he points this arm straight up to the ceiling. He's going to keep his hips straight. Once again, we're going to see that straight line from the shoulders, hips, and down to the ankle. Now he can lift up this leg into a star. He could also lower this leg into a modified position so he doesn't have quite as much weight on that foot. And this is a really good alternative. We want to hold this position and the plank position for as long as you can. 30 seconds is really good. Shoot for a minute maybe. A minute is a pretty good goal. Work yourself up to it. You could do 10 seconds at a time. This is a great position because you can just hold it anywhere. Now I'm going to have Tim take a ball right underneath his forearms, and he's going to really show us how stable he is. He's going to put his forearms on top of the ball. He really has to stay stable in the whole sides of his body, the shoulders, the chest, the obliques, the hips. Now, he's doing a pretty good job here. The ball wants him to roll off because he has the weight up on top of the ball. And I will give you a special note that the body's going to want to really sag because that will help hold your position straighter on the ball a little more stable, and you don't have to use as much muscle. But we want to use our muscle. So now I'm going to have Tim lift one leg. All right, this is a dynamic plank because there's movement involved. He's lifting up a leg. Now he can move that leg. Normally we use our core in a very rigid, stiff position like when we're standing or walking, but sometimes we bend and flex, and so we want to be able to keep our body stable as we move around. So he can do anything he wants to with this leg, just like with the dynamic plank that I showed a second ago, and that's going to challenge his stabilizing muscles even more. All right, great job.